So, hi Donna, so nice to meet with you over Skype. You will be one of the presenters at the ALA conference end of this year in October. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are or your background?
Sure. So I have written 4 books on EMF, that is the electromagnetic fields. What happened is in 1999, the local state power company sent residents on my street a letter saying that they would be putting a substation in across the road. Okay, so I went to my next door neighbour, and she had grown up next door to a substation when she was young, and her dad and 2 neighbours had died of brain tumours. The lady across the road, she had power lines going right outside her bedroom window, which was allowed back then, and she got breast cancer, and her husband got kidney cancer. And the actual state company had, electrical company had said, international research is inconclusive. We just thought, oh, okay, there's something controversial about it. So to cut a very long story short, we said no in our letters. Our local council said no. So the state power company threw us into a court case. So there was Energex, was the state power company with all their barristers, and legal team, senior lawyers, junior lawyers, versus Logan City Council and others. So even though we said no, like council said no, we had to have a separate expert witness. To cut a very long story short, again, I just went every day, and I actually just copied what the legal people did. I exposed a lot. So I represented the people in the capacity of a QC. And because we were releasing more information and exposing their mathematical systems, luckily I taught maths at school, they actually shut the court case down, and it was made an order of the court because the power company didn't want anything more, exposed, because the actual transcripts from court cases, everyone can read them. So that actually created a world first. So the substation was put 1 block further away, but the fields were limited. So they went from saying, oh, it's okay to expose people to these fields and as high as we want. Well, no, they were limited from that border of the substation property, and the fields were limited at 6 transformers around the actual suburbs. So that was a world first. And then in 2000, the first letter came in 1999, and then the court case was in 2001. And I just left it alone. I was like most people, really busy, had 3 children. We actually had our own business. And then in 2006, I heard about the breast cancer cluster at the ABC TV studios in Brisbane. There were 12 women with breast cancer for that workplace. There actually were more, but they didn't count the men. And there was a girl with MS. One of the males had testicular cancer. Anyway, I went there to measure the fields because it wasn't far from where I lived, and they actually transported me off the actual property, and said I was trespassing, which I wanted to, and I said I can help you, and they just said go away. And that's when I wrote my first book. So I wrote my first book, Silent Fields, about my court case, and that actual I actually watched that investigation and what they didn't do, and what the Professor Bruce Armstrong admitted in the end. So I wrote my first book, I wrote a second book, I wrote a third book, and then I wrote my 4th book, which is Light That Heals, Energy Medicine Today and Beyond, because what I was to find out was EMFs, they are harming us. They're harming us, there is no doubt. But there are also PEMF devices that are being used to heal people. And then I discovered devices using light, So I've gone from this, journey of, what's harmful and in the darkness, which led me to light. So it's been a fascinating journey. And then I got onto scalar wave technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So I always loved assignments, at school and essays. And this is how this 20 years it's been, the 20-year journey has actually culminated in me being requested to actually present about EMF. And as I've said, there's so many different types of EMF today, and they polarize them and do all sorts of things. Okay, so I try and bring it down to the layperson's level and explain it, give people situations and examples,
Good.
but also give them, light technologies that are out there.
So I assume that you will talk about that at the ALA conference about what is it and how people can help themselves to,
Yeah, yeah,
prevent any
yeah.
harm to come to their physical body. Oh, and do you have any products that could do the job, or to, to help us
Yes,
to heal?
yes. Okay, I never thought that there would be an actual product out there. It was just by chance in 2014. I was trying to get an Australian woman. She would have been in her 70s, Catherine. I was trying to get her into a white zone. So there was a white zone in Sweden at the time. So that's an area where there's no EMF and no wireless, which means they don't have electricity or phones or towers or anything. But I couldn't get her in. And then I said to her, I used to have companies, EMF protection companies, send me products. And I rang her up and I said, Catherine, I've got something else. Do you want to try it? And she said, no, it's a miracle. I'm not affected anymore. And she was so debilitated, she thought she was going to die. I said, that miracle, what did you do? And she said, I've got a scalar wave device called Blue Shield. And my book is called Light That Heals Energy Medicine Today and Beyond. And I was thinking, I've never heard of a scalar wave, like, what am I thinking? So I was just about to print the book. I said, start the book. And I went to a scalar wave chamber, which was like 20 minutes from my home. I didn't realize. And I sat in there for 2 hours, they like you to, with these therapeutic scalar waves, emanating towards me. And I said to them after, I said, it's okay about the therapeutic scalar waves. The scalar is light. And I said, but what about the EMF? You've got 8 computers. They said, oh, Donna Fisher, scalar energy overrides EMF. So then I rang the Blue Shield CEO, co-inventor, and I've asked zillions of questions. I now bring it into Australia, and it has dramatically helped so many people with their health. I think Blue Shield is the most extraordinary, revolutionary technology that we have today. So scalar waves are our actual future. They are using scalar waves now already in medical devices and communication devices, and we will see more of that. So eventually, but not in my lifetime, the radio waves and microwaves that harm us, they will actually, the scalar waves will replace them, and it all goes back to nature.